You open your phone, and a name pops up you haven't thought about in years. They text like no time passed at all. Then you scroll back further and find another name. Someone you used to call every single day. Someone you fought for, who is now just gone. Try harder with a person, and they vanish anyway. Barely try, and they stay. If effort built these bonds, the math should work out. It doesn't. Something else has been sorting your connections the whole time, deciding what survives, long before you ever notice the deciding is happening. In a moment, I'll show you exactly what that something is, and it's simpler and colder than you'd guess. By the end, I'll show you what to actually do with whoever is still standing next to you once you stop pretending you're the one who kept them there. So let's start with the story you tell yourself. You like to think you chose them. The friend from a decade back, the partner beside you now, the family you still call on Sundays. You tell yourself, judgment put them there, that you weighed and selected and kept the best. It's a comfortable story. It puts you at the center, holding the pen. But watch closely, and the story gets shakier. Some people you fought to keep are gone. Some you barely tried with are still here. If you were really the author, wouldn't the outcome match the effort? Something else has been doing the sorting under the sorting you think you did. And it started before you were paying attention. Here's the mechanism, and it isn't mystical. It's finitude. The fact that you end, and they end. The clock never stops to ask permission. One writer put it plainly, the only chain holding you to life is the love of life itself. That chain isn't cut all at once. It's worn thin, slowly, until you're ready for whatever comes. That same wearing thin happens to bonds. Most of your connections were never architecture, they were accident, what Emerson called oblique and casual, built from proximity, timing, a shared hallway, a shared decade. Remove the accident, and the bond doesn't break. It just reveals it was never load-bearing. So when someone fades, you grieve like you lost control you never had. That's the real wound. Not just their absence, but the collapse of the story that you were choosing all along. Emerson noticed this too. The strange, ungenerous trick of existence is that things slip through your fingers exactly when you clutch hardest. Grief, in this light, isn't only mourning a person, it's mourning a fiction. The fiction that you were ever fully the author. And there's a colder line waiting underneath. Eventually you look at death itself as the one honest thing left, the one thing that won't dodge you. Which raises an obvious objection you're probably already forming. Surely commitment counts for something. Vows, discipline, showing up on the hard days. Doesn't that prove will can build a bond, not just finitude's silent filtering? It's a fair challenge, and it deserves a real answer, not a dismissal. Here it is. Whatever you cannot say no to owns you, and commitment only means something if it grows out of genuine desire, not obligation performed on command. So yes, will can maintain a bond. It can show up, keep promises, do the work on the ordinary Tuesday. But will cannot manufacture the reason a bond is worth maintaining in the first place. Finitude hands you the reason. Commitment just carries it forward. So what actually survives the filtering? Not the bonds you defended hardest, the ones that gravitate, that move toward you without needing to be pushed there. Emerson called it something close to a divine necessity. Friends don't get made, they get allowed. Think about the last time you ran into someone after years apart, and the conversation picked up mid-sentence. No rust, no repair work needed. That's not chemistry you engineered. That's a bond that met the test of time without your help. Life goes headlong, chasing schemes, running from fears, and then suddenly a friend appears, and you pause, and the hurry looks foolish. That pause is the tell. Notice it. Here's what this actually frees you from. And I think this is worth sitting with, so tell me where you land on it. If impermanence is doing the real sorting, you're released from the exhausting job of manufacturing every connection through performance, or fear of loss, or sheer force of will. Emerson warned against being afraid to make ties too spiritual, as if distance could cheapen real love. It can't. He also warned against rash, foolish alliances built from loneliness rather than truth. By persisting in your own path, even when it costs you the easy, forgettable connections, you gain the rare ones. That's not isolation. That's self-possession. Do you experience relief in that thought, or resistance? Go back to the hand, reaching toward all those other hands. Most of those lines were always going to fade. Not because you failed them, and not because they failed you. They simply weren't built to survive the fact that both people in them will end. You didn't erase them. Impermanence did, quietly, before you noticed the pen was never fully in your hand. The few lines still lit didn't stay because you were strong enough to hold on. They stayed because something in their shape never asked to be let go. Their relation was not made. It was allowed. So here's where this leaves you. You did not choose most of what you're holding on to right now, and you did not lose most of what slipped away either. Impermanence made the first cut long before you noticed there was a cut being made. What's left in your life isn't what you fought hardest to keep. It's what never needed the fight. So don't chase the lines that faded, and don't grip the ones still lit. Just notice them. Look at who's still there without your forcing it. So tell me, who came to mind while you were watching this, and why do you think they stayed? Leave it in the comments.